Good morning, folks, and thanks for attending this press conference. The hold-up squad is seeking information on a violent robbery that occurred on the 30th of July, 2013, just before 10 p.m. at a residence at 184 Harvard Street in the City of Toronto. At this point in time, a male and a female, by deceit, entered a residence at 184 Harvard Street, brandished a knife, and approached the 44-year-old female victim, 59-year-old female victim, and 57-year-old male victim, and made a demand for cash and bank cards. The knife was held by the male suspect. It was pressed against the male victim's nose at one point in time while making these demands, at which point the male victim complied, turned over cash and his banking cards to the two suspects, the male and female suspect, and they started to flee the premises. During the course of the robbery, one of the female victims did scream, which caused a resident in the building in a separate apartment come to the aid. This 58-year-old lady approached the apartment where the suspects were in, and as she approached the apartment, the male suspect punched her nose, splattering her nose on her face, causing enormous amounts of blood, and then ripped a necklace from her person before the suspects fled. As a course of the investigation, we were able to track the use of the bank cards the following days, and we obtained video of the two suspects here that matched the description of the home invasion suspects. That is the male black with the braided hair and the dark sunglasses, and the female black with the long black and blonde ponytail. We were hoping that the public and the media can identify these two individuals by calling Crime Stoppers or the Hold-Up Squad at 808-7350. The disturbing fact about this home invasion is the victims are residing in community housing, part of HouseLink, which caters to individuals with history of mental illness and others in the vulnerable sector. These individuals targeted the vulnerable sector for this home invasion. It's not the normal course of the home invasions where we usually have entrepreneurs or self-employed drug traffickers that are the targets. These are vulnerable people, no connection with criminal activity whatsoever, that, to my knowledge. We also believe that these individuals could have committed other robberies in similar nature, so as soon as we can get these individuals identified, we can get them off the streets. Again, the suspects are a male black, mid-20s, and a female black, same age, mid-20s, and you can see their pictures here. These pictures were captured from a sporting store where the debit cards and the bank cards were utilized in the following days. Questions?
So can you, the home that they invaded, you were saying was community, is it like TCH, like Toronto Community Housing, or is
My understanding is HouseLinks, which is, it's community run. I'm not sure who actually looks after it, but there's definitely the vulnerable sector have residents in the premises.
And is it an apartment building, or?
Yes, there's small apartments, individual apartments in the building itself.
And was there surveillance video or photographs from that location as well?
No, there was not. Most home invasions we don't get a lot of photos from because a lot of people don't have cameras in their own homes. We're fortunate in this case where the individuals stole their banking cards. We're able to, through investigation, track down video and flicks of these suspects that match the description of the actual home invaders.
So they took the bank cards?
Yes,
and
they
then
did.
When they went to use them, you were able to
capture video footage of them after they, prior to the use or after the use of the bank cards in the store.
So were they able to, are you saying that they coerced the PINs from the residents who were there? Like how, because you would need a PIN number, right, to go use them?
They obtained the bank cards, and some of them were credit cards, my understanding also.
And where was this? Where are these photos taken again?
This photo is taken from a sporting store on Queen Street West.
Like at the Eaton Center or something like that?
300 block of Queen Street West. I'm not sure the name of the store. But there was a lot of merchandise purchased, a couple of $1,000s in the days preceding the robbery.
And what can you tell us about the residents, just a little bit more in terms of how they're doing, they're, you know, there
My
was-
understanding that 2 of them were transported to hospital that night, the male victim and the female 58-year-old lady that was punched in the face and had her necklace removed. I don't think there's any long-term injuries other than this is their home. They feel safe, they're vulnerable, and these individuals took advantage of that by committing this violent act.
And you think that they may also be involved in other home invasions? Do you have others that are in that area, or are you just saying, you know, suspecting that if they were that brazen in that case, that they may have done this elsewhere?
Well, we have other robberies that the hold-up squad investigates that these individuals could very well match the descriptions. Like, again, we have home invasions, but we don't get a lot of pictures from the home invasions themselves. So that's why we're fortunate to get pictures of these individuals. Somebody's going to know these individuals, and that'll lead us in the direction to apprehend them, and then we can look at them for the other robberies that are out there outstanding.
So you haven't kind of triangulated whether there are others in the Harvard area near that?
There's other home invasions in Toronto. To this date, I think we have 58 occurrences of home invasions in the Toronto itself, and there's very similar descriptions in several of them. But I can't say that it's these individuals until we actually apprehend them and look more closely at the individuals themselves.
And the other question I had was, I know that there are a number of reports lately of home invasions on the West End. I'm not suggesting that it's linked to this at all. Can you, I'm catching you off guard on this, but I figured since you're here, I'll ask anyway. Can you speak to that at all? The ones in they're in Etobicoke, kind of in the Royal York and Bloor area?
My understanding, those are break-and enters. There's a bit of a difference. These individuals went in and produced a knife and utilized violent acts to commit this as a robbery. I'm not familiar. I understand there is break-ins in the West End of Toronto. I'm familiar with that. My understanding they're break-ins. Some of them, but I think there's a different motive compared to this.
What was the motive here?
Well, it's obviously money and bank cards, to where I think the motive in Etobicoke or break and enters, there's property as a motive, and my understanding is they're stealing property there. Some of them were even cars at one point in time.
Anyone else firing in? Go ahead, Jane.
All right.
Okay, sounds